If you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole. I started this BookTube channel in 2024, kind of looking for a hobby and something to kind of just put my time into, something for fun, just a little of everything, honestly. And I realized that I haven't actually done a BookTube Newbie tag. So I thought I was going to go ahead and do that today. I do want to preface this as I am someone who's newer to reading in general. I am not a person who read in high school like I was supposed to. I didn't get into reading until later in life. So I don't have like a ton of books behind me that I can speak for, but I can do this tag. So let's get started with the first question. Why did I start this channel? And I kind of touched on this already, but basically as someone who is a newer mom, I kind of lost my hobbies because I was doing things like adult coloring books, and obviously I can't have the colored pencils laying around because otherwise my child grabs them and they disappear. And I have nicer coloring products than she does. And I don't want her using my stuff. I want her using her stuff. So my stuff has just kind of gotten pushed away. I also am I loved watching TV and playing video games, but I can't do that stuff really around my kid because I don't want her watching a lot of adult shows. And I mean, same thing with the video games. We don't need to be just sitting there all day staring at a screen with the little one. This led me down a path and a journey of my husband getting involved, telling me, you need a hobby, you need something that you can do. This kind of led me into reading. I thought, why not start a BookTube channel? Because I do watch other BookTubers, and I am present on other parts of the internet on different platforms. And I thought, let's just dive into YouTube. Let's give this a shot. I want to see what YouTube has to offer inside of the digital space. What do I bring to the table? I don't really know how to answer this question because I don't have a wide range of books that I've read at this point. I don't feel like I have anything really off the wall to offer. I kind of think that my differentiating feature is that I do have a child. And me watching other booktubers, I feel like these other people generally don't have children. So how are they spending hours and hours and hours reading with a child? Because it's just not possible. If you're home all day with a little one, you just don't have the hours to sit there and read. Now, they very well could, but they just haven't made it known on their channels, or I just haven't watched the right videos. But it's not something that I have noticed. That might be something that I bring to the table. We'll see. What am I most excited about? Ultimately, I'm most excited about just finding a hobby. I want to know if reading is my hobby. Is this something that I want to do for a long time? Is this something that I can really get into? Is this something that I can full on fall in love with? And I would like to have a really nice bookshelf in my house one day. I think that'd be so cool to even have like a full-on library. I think libraries are beautiful in people's homes. Again, we'll just see where this path goes. I don't know where this is going to end up, but we will enjoy the journey together. And then the next question is, why do I love reading? As someone who's newer to reading, I don't fully have anything that I could speak to that I'm like in love with. I just know that for me, reading is something that lets me kind of escape reality for a little bit. I'm able to actually focus on something else other than just the chaos of everything that's going on. And I love the worlds. I love seeing different fantasy worlds and just exploring all the things that are just different from our own universe. What book or series got me into reading? So for me personally, right after high school, I picked up The Hunger Games. And I chewed through the first book and then chewed through the whole series. Fell in love with it. The movies were coming out at the same time and just literally fell in love with it. But it was never something that I fully pursued. I just kind of picked up dystopian books here and there after that, but I never fully dove in. And then when I retouched in 2024, I retouched reading, I fell in love with ACOTAR. I saw this series all over the internet, and I knew that I liked fantasy from just the kind of different dystopians that I was exposed to, and I wanted to give it a shot. I also haven't read romance, so I thought that that would be a good bridge, kind of, because I heard a lot of people say if you're a romance person, ACOTAR is a good way to get into fantasy. And I knew that I liked fantasy. I just wanted to see what the hype was about with ACOTAR. and I gave it a shot and I love it. I think it is the best series ever right now. Highly recommend both Hunger Games and ACOTAR as good starting points if you're wanting dystopian or fantasy to start with. The next question is, what questions would I ask my favorite booktuber? Me personally, I would probably ask how on earth they read so much. How do they chew through these books and do these different challenges and just eat up books? Do they just live, eat, breathe reading? Because I don't know what that feels like, to wake up and read all day and go to bed and do it all again the next day. Or are they actually reading that much? I don't know. I would love to hear like what their actual reading schedules are like. We only see what we see on the internet and we kind of make assumptions, but we don't actually know their day-to-day ins and outs of how much they're actually physically reading. And then the next question, what challenges will this channel be bringing? I think this for me is definitely going to be finding time for reading while being a mom. I think just finding the time to just sit down and actually physically read is going to be difficult. And right now, I do kind of think that audiobooks are a helpful place for me with being a parent and being super busy. But I do kind of think that audiobooks are not actually a form of reading because you're not sitting down and just focusing on the story. You're multitasking while you're doing audiobooks. So I think it's a good tool, but I don't think it fully replaces actually reading. Me sitting down and reading physical books, I think is going to be the biggest challenge that I'm going to have to overcome. And then the last question is, what kind of books do I like reading? So ultimately, again, this is the dystopian. Dystopian has my heart because that's where I ultimately got started, and fantasy. I, at this point, do not think that I'm a romance person. I don't think, because I don't like Hallmark. I don't like Hallmark movies, and that's all I can picture when I picture romance stories. I do know that they can get really spicy, and that's very different than Hallmark. But for me personally, I just don't think that that's my thing. I would rather read about these complex worlds at this point and just fun alternate realities. I've even played with sci-fi, and I think that that's, again, another one of the things that I'm going to be reading. But I just don't think romance is it. I think dystopian, fantasy, and even sci-fi are the things that I'm going to like reading. And at this point, I actually prefer physical books also. Again, I do like audiobooks. I have an Audible subscription, but I don't think that my preferred way of actually reading is a physical book. I have a Kindle also, but I just haven't gotten into it. I really just think I like the physical books the best. I like being able to watch myself as I progress through a book. Those are all the questions that I'm going to answer for this BookTube Newbie tag. If you are new to BookTube also, I would love to connect with you down below in the comments. Let me know if you are starting a channel, and let me know what your favorite book is. I would love to just hear what everyone else is just obsessed with. And I will see you in the next video.